Hello, my friends. This video I'm actually doing based on a question someone asked in one of my previous videos, which was, what do you say on videos? A lot of people don't do video for a whole bunch of reasons. They think they either look funny, sound weird, or they don't know what to say. So let me get rid of the first two. You look fantastic and you sound delightful. Hey, Catherine, good to see you on board again. Okay, so if you don't like video, there's your first sort of out. The thing is, people see you day in, day out, and unless they're regularly insulting you for the way you look and the way you sound, you're going to be just fine. So that's sort of the first thing. So let me address the question that Stephanie put forward in what I think it was about last week or possibly even the week before. So sorry it took me so long to get back to you. I blame the long weekend and I don't know, children, because that's what you have children for, isn't it? So you can blame things on them. Thanks, Catherine. You look, I can't wait. I'd love to be able to see you guys again. So I am going to be watching the comments. So if you guys have questions as I'm talking, by all means, please do put your comments in there. I'll try to get to them. If not, right on the live video, but then certainly afterwards. Okay, so Stephanie asked, I'd love to do video, but I really don't know where to start. I don't know what topics I should talk about. I don't even know how to structure the video. And really it comes down to a couple of key things that make video really, really amazing. And you don't have to have anything fancy. Like right now, I'm just using my computer and my webcam. You can also do, I do live videos. The algorithm on Facebook likes live videos more than any other content type out there. Okay, so if you're gonna choose a video type, put your big girl or big boy pants on and choose live video because it goes really, really well. You can also do live streaming on your phone. Do put it on Do Not Disturb. I never do that, and then it always, invariably someone calls and that ends the entire program. So that's why I use my computer, because I'm paranoid about my live videos not working. If you're not comfortable with going straight to live video, that's okay. Start with pre-recorded. The other two things that are really essential for good video is very simply good light and good sound. And again, you don't have to have a studio. As you can see, I'm sitting in my kitchen right now. And I'm sitting here because I get the most natural light when I'm sitting here. I just decided, I was just downstairs, I've got like a craft room, junk room, it's awful. And I've decided I'm gonna convert that into a studio at some point. But for now, because I don't have studio equipment, don't wanna pay a videographer to help me out, I'm just sitting where I've got the most natural light and I'm facing toward it. The other thing I've got, again, this little jobby here, I got at the dollar store. This is a wonderful thing, it's got a microphone right there. So you have good sound, because if you don't have good sound, no one can hear you. So those are some of the technical things. Now let's talk about how you get people to care about what you're saying and then to stick with you to the end, okay? So the first thing you have to develop, it's very simple, it's curiosity. There's a wonderful book, and I was hunting all over my house for it. I must have lent it out to someone. If I've loaned you my book, please bring it back. I never remember, I should never loan my books out. It's called They Ask, You Answer, and it's by Marcus Sheridan. Half the book is how great he is and everyone should go and join his workshop. So once you kind of unravel that and get past it, he has a really important message. What people are really looking for are answers to their questions. And that's what today's episode is all about. I want to answer Stephanie's question. Chances are there's a lot of other Stephanies out there who also have the same sort of issue with, like, I don't want to start a video because I don't know what to say. Like, who's going to care? The answer is people do care, and they care about the answers that you provide. Most people will listen to a video because they are curious. And in order for someone to be curious, you have to be addressing a question that they have. So if you love reading, I'm a voracious reader, I do highly recommend that you go and get that book. Again, it's called They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. Fantastic, fantastic author. And there's also another a website you can go to. It's called answerthepublic.com. And answerthepublic.com allows you to enter in a keyword, and what it'll do is it'll spit out all of the Google questions people are typing in and around that topic. So for instance, I work a lot with real estate agents. And so one of the things I do when I'm coming up with, great topics and stuff like that is I'll type in home selling. And then all of the questions that come along and are related to home selling show up. Right? How much is it going to cost for me to sell my home? When should I sell my home? Blah, 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 all these other things. There's your video topics. Ta-da! It's that easy. And so once you have the questions, all you need to do is come up with the answers. So again, today's question is, what do I talk about in my videos? The answer is what I'm giving you right now. I'm giving you resources. I'm giving you some ideas and some options and some strategies so that if you wanted to shoot more video, then you have the ability to do so. And let me just pause right here for just a second as to why videos are so incredibly important. So if you're listening, I want you to kind of like get comfy in your seat and just for 30 seconds, just tune in. By 2019, almost 100% of the content on Facebook is going to be video. So when you think about it, there are almost 2 billion people who are on Facebook, if not more. I've lost track of the number at this stage. Most of your target audience is likely there. They're buyers, they're shoppers, and they engage with people on Facebook. If you are not comfortable doing video, your stuff will not be seen. You will post it, but no one's going to see it. And so it really is important for you to get comfortable with video. Again, if you're not comfortable with live, start with pre-recorded, record it on your phone, upload it to Facebook. Don't upload it to YouTube and then use the link because that doesn't work. You have to upload the actual MP4 file. But it is incredibly imperative. And another reason, and this is really interesting, so Frank Kern is my mentor. Love that guy. Cyber stalked him for years, and now I actually stalk this man. So lucky guy. He represents the Direct Marketing Association in the US and recently went to Washington to talk to them about that. And what came out of that was that, so I'm in Canada, as most of you know, and we have castle rules. So very, very much limits who you can send your emails to. It must be confirmed by them that they are willing and able and desiring to get your emails before you can continue to market to them. GDPR came out in the UK, right? And so that's another way that, email doors are closing. The US is not far behind. And if you understand the power of video and being on video and being able to share your message and you're comfortable with it and you take some of these ideas that I'm sharing with you today and look at other resources as well, you will do well because your sales, imagine if the email pipeline died tomorrow. Would you know what to do? I did a video recently on how to create a sales funnel without having to actually write a single email. If you haven't watched it, please go back because that will answer the question of how do you create a sales funnel using video that completely circumvents the whole idea of email. Okay, so one of the things I like to do with my private client group is prepare them, right? I want you to be not only capable of doing what you need to do now using the current resources, so email is still a thing, people still open them, mostly. But what happens in the event that that door closes? Are you ready and do you have a solution? And video is going to be one of the ways that you're going to do that. If you look at, TV now has live streaming options from YouTube. That's new and it's only going to be expanding, right? So again, sort of think to the future. Okay, back to Stephanie's question. What do you talk about on videos besides questions and answers? That is the easiest way of getting started. Just make a list of questions, write down a couple of your answers, and you're good to go. Okay, the other thing you can do, which is what I often do, and again, I wanted to have this, is you have props. So I was going to have my prop. I'm going to pretend this is my book by Marcus Sheridan. They Ask You Answer. It's fantastic. You should read it. But props, they allow you to get other things into the frame. So I have a friend of mine. She does one. I drink tea. So this is actually a mug I got from my husband. It says, "I'm just a love machine, and I won't work for nobody but you." Great, incredible English. My sister, who is a teacher, would be proud. So you have props, and her prop is every single time she does a video, she has a different kind of tea. So she'll introduce herself, and she introduces her tea. It's quite entertaining. I usually have books because I'm a voracious reader. And so some of the books that I'll just share with you, some of the books that I have. And sometimes if you write a book and it's slightly controversial, that can be quite a bit of fun. I mean, don't go like overboard here. But there's this one, I'll show you the book that inspired me to start my business 8 odd years ago. Okay, and you're probably going to find this funny. It's The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. There we go, Timothy Ferriss. Okay, so I read this book and I thought, that's the kind of life that I want. And I have been consistently moving toward what this book was talking about back then. So, books can be your props. If you are in a relationship, this is great. Sometimes I like to talk about things that are not necessarily relating to business. Every male and female should read these books. These books right here. female, that's the male brain, the male brain and the female brain. It would end all marital arguments if you understood how men, this is backwards, sorry, the video camera's backwards, how men think versus how women think. And if you're a marketer and you're targeting either directly towards men or directly to women, it behooves thee to read these, because it talks about how people read things. So one example is men tend not to have as many facial expressions as women do. Our faces move all over the place because that's how we read each other. So when girls are out together, they're very, very, very expressive, and we're reading each other's faces, and we're learning about each other. When men go out, not so crazy. And when men and women talk, I go this with my husband all the time. I'll say something and he just has no facial expression. Well, from there, I read things differently. And I only say that not because I'm trying to dish out relationship advice. If you found that helpful, you're welcome. But that look to all different types of resources. And if you, again, I like to read, maybe you like to watch movies, maybe you like to, cook, right? Whatever it is that you find is really helpful. I work with people who sell things like Isagenix or essential oils. A demo video would be brilliant, right? So really think about what you people are looking for and try to use props as much as you can. So props, if you're making food, if you're in the health and wellness, if you're in physical fitness, you can do a demonstration of a certain exercise and what it does. If you're in the food side of things, again, especially if you're in like a supplement kind of a thing, people get kind of weirded out by that. Show how to use that kind of a product in a real world, real food situation. That can be really helpful as well. Another idea is storytelling. Okay, so, I like to tell stories all the way through, and they can be tiny little stories, like the little story I just told you about, my husband and I having a conversation, and he doesn't have any facial expression going on, so therefore, I don't think he's listening. And then I filibuster for 3 hours, at which point I realize he has been listening all along, but the way that his face is a little bit different. Okay, so it's a matter of how do we understand each other. As a marketer, I want to make sure I understand you guys who are listening, people who want to, come into my coaching programs or use any of my services, because an understanding and making people feel understood, which is a little bit different, people feel that sense of empathy with you, and storytelling is key. So if you've ever done a webinar or the next webinar you attend, I want you to listen to the personal storytelling part of the webinar. Usually webinars follow the exact same pattern. They start with an introduction, they tell you who should be there, they tell you who should leave, tell you a little story about themselves, and then they get into the core content. And then they wrap it up with the selling kind of a message at the end, okay? That storytelling component, before they even have the teaching side of things, is critical, because no one's going to listen to you if they don't empathize with you. So tell a little story. Please don't tell your private stories, leave that aside. But do tell something that is going to build empathy. And here's another little tip I learned about, 4 or 5 years ago when I hired my first coach. I'm always learning, so I'm always hiring coaches and mentors to help me get to the next level. So the first one brought in a guy by the name of John Richardson. So John, if you're listening, shout out to you. Did a fantastic job of sharing with us that webinar strategy that I just told you about. I learned that from John. So again, his name is John Richardson. And a brilliant guy in terms of how to actually build messages that work. And so kind of lost track of my thoughts here, but yeah, so I'll just skip to the end. So the storytelling part, I don't know what I was talking about. He told me, and this is the first time I'd ever heard about this, about the hero's journey. Go to any movie in the theater and it will follow the hero's journey, right? The underdog is kind of down and out, and then all of a sudden, wow, good things start happening. And then it looks like he's going to get in. Oh no, catastrophe. Gets beat up or whatever, bad things happen. And then he finds a solution, whether it's external or within himself, hurrah, hurrah, and they literally ride off into the sunset. That is called the hero's journey. And usually we all have a little bit of that in us, right? So I have a little bit of that. I'll save that for another video because it's a bit of a long story in terms of my own, how I got from, 10 years ago to here. It's a pretty interesting story. But you tell these stories so that people empathize with you. So again, you have the building curiosity, you have props, and you have storytelling. Among the storytelling, you can throw in examples. So one of the things I like to try to do if I'm specifically trying to prop up some of the other coaching programs or workshops that I have, I'll give examples of what my clients are doing, right? So that whole webinar thing I told you guys about, there's a guy in my private client group and he's executing on it. I think he just launched it and I'm super excited to see how that works because it's fully automated so that he can continue doing, his awesome thing, but at the same time, he's getting new leads into his sales funnel that are qualified because the only ones that he talks to are the ones that have watched through that entire webinar. So those kinds of things and examples so that people can know that what you're talking about is actually real, right? So how many coaches or gurus do you know who are talking about stuff because they kind of flunked out of doing it themselves? It's kind of hard to take those people seriously. Okay, so at the end of the day, the most important thing for you to get people to listen to, so there's a couple important things. There's two real important things. I should say it's two. One is answer a question and show that you know what you're talking about. It is the most, and one of the things that makes people hold back and they don't want to do, like things like I'm doing right here, right? People in my private client group, they pay me $30,000 a year to be able to listen to me go on about this, and then obviously, show them exactly how to do it, support them, give them all the networking or the technology that they need and so on, okay? But I'm sharing it with you for free. Hey, Bonnie. Because why would you join my coaching program if you didn't think I knew what I was talking about first? And people fear that if they do that, if they share their knowledge, that one of the competitors is going to take that and they're going to run with it and then they're going to steal their market share. Okay, so here's some good news on that point. The good news on that point is that if you share, say for instance, you decide I'm going to share my knowledge and I'm going to share it for free on the internet and I'm just going to go and I'm going to do it. Approximately, maybe, possibly 1% of people who listen to you might do the same thing. Maybe. Because stuff like this, and most people have a hard time doing video. And so, well, there clears the field for most of your competitors right there. 90% people won't be doing it. They won't do video because either they don't see the value in it or they don't want to do it. Okay, so there's sort of one option. So don't be afraid of doing it because even if someone else does the exact same thing as you, they are not you. And you have something special and valuable that you can share. So play to your strengths, listen. The better you listen to the people that you're trying to influence and the more you understand what answers they're looking for, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Just do it better. Okay, so that's sort of one thing. So don't be afraid of sharing it and don't be afraid of doing a little bit of storytelling. Whether it's a personal story or it's a story about some customers you've been working with, or it's a story like I just told you, like almost completely unrelated. We know that these two books in terms of understanding how men and women work. Maybe it's going into books that inspire you, like this one, or the resource I told you about that I can't find my book because I obviously loaned it to someone. That they ask you answer. Because what that does, with that storytelling and the props, what they do is they add additional interest. So another thing you can do to add additional interest, bring someone into the video with you. So if you have a really hard time, so like right now, I'm not staring at my screen. I'm making little side eyeball looks to see, people who are joining and commenting and sharing because I want to make sure if there's questions, I'm able to answer it. But basically, I'm staring at the little green dot in the middle of my my webcam because to me, that's me looking at you eye to eye. And that takes a little bit of practice to get used to. I wasn't very good at it when I started, but again, with time, you do very, very well. So that's really, so again, Stephanie, if you're listening, I hope that answers your questions in terms of what kinds of things you can talk about. I highly recommend that you sit down and just brainstorm. The best thing you can do to make sure that you deliver consistent, really, really good content is to sit down, go through answerthepublic.com. Another great thing, actually, I almost forgot this, is there are out there, and I wish I could tell you which one I used, but it's a free blog title generator. And I tried a couple of them, and there's some fantastic services out there because I read a lot of blogs. And I have one particular client I write 11 blogs for per month, and they sell windows and siding products for homes. And that's, remember, 11 blogs per month for that sucker. So it's a bit of a challenge coming up with these topics and making sure you don't repeat yourself. So, I went to this blog title generator and typed in a couple of keywords. I have some really good ideas of titles that you can use, in this case in a blog, but you can use them in a video too. So you go for it, use it. So free headline generators. So those are really good tools. Blog generators, answerthepublic.com. Another really fun thing you can do, and this is, I think it's from Ryan Levesque. I might be misquoting, but he wrote a book called Ask. I'm about halfway through reading it. It's a great book. I would show you, but my computer is currently sitting on it, so because I needed my computer to be higher. Okay, so I have a bit of a ghetto thing going on today with my video, but again, hey, it works. So in this Ask book, what he's encouraging you to do is to not guess what your clients want, but ask them. He's got a whole methodology, and it's a great book. I highly recommend you read it. I'm going to be implementing some of the things on it too. But the point is, you can go into Google, and if you start typing in something, just start typing in a few words, see what comes after it. And sometimes it can be rather enlightening, as you type in home selling, and then there could be a whole bunch of suggestions. I hope I'm making myself clear here. I can't sort of demonstrate it on my computer. Working on that solution too, so you can see my screen in the same time that I'm talking. But essentially, if you type in a few starter words, again, Google will finish it up with the most popular, most recent searches based on people who started their search with those words. Okay, so that's another way for you to know, what are people asking, right? What are the questions that they have, and how can I provide an answer to the questions that people are coming up with? So there's all these tools, guys, they're 100% free. Answer the Public is free. Obviously, Google is free. The free the blog generators, headline generators, they're all free tools. You don't have to pay a penny for them. All you have to do is go there, make a list, say, even if you do one video a week, there's your video list, bang, bang, bang. And then you're not wondering, what do I talk about next? Right? You have everything, it's right in front of you. You just show up, see if you can, even if you're just like one prop. And again, it could be a book. It could be the beverage you're drinking. You may have a series of really funny mugs that you want to, present to people. I like collecting funny mugs. I sometimes wear funny t-shirts with hilarious little sayings on them, just something, right? And because that gets people to listen, it gets people to tune in. And don't forget to build that empathy, to tell a story, whether it's yours or somebody else's, because again, that is what's going to make people build that personal relationship with you. And I'll end this video with one sort of other reason why video is so incredibly important, and then I'll let you guys go. Again, if you have any questions about stuff I'm talking about, you can private message me, leave me a comment. I'm always looking to make sure that I'm keeping up with whatever people have. And if you have something you want me to talk about, if you want me to show you how to do something, I don't care what it is, just let me know, and I'd be happy to do that for you. So my parting gift of wisdom for you for today in regards to video. People who watch a lot of TV think that they have more friends than they actually have. So you watch Friends, funnily enough, and you think that you and Jennifer Aniston, you're buddies. Why? Because you tune in and you show up every day, or you see them a lot in movies and stuff like that, and you feel like you actually have a personal connection with that person because you see them consistently, and generally playing the same kind of a character, okay? The same goes for if you do video on a regular basis, and again, regular doesn't need to be any more than once a week, twice if you can swing it. Again, consistency over frequency, guys. This is not a race, okay? This is just about being there and being dependable. But people who watch your videos will think that they know you. And when you have the opportunity of meeting these people in person, so again, one of the things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have more and more workshops. In the day of social media, there is so much isolation that I think we've lost the beauty and the power and the strength of meeting together. And so this is one of the things that I'm going to be trying to do. Okay, so meeting in person. When I have those workshops, when I'm speaking at an event, at a conference, or whether it's at an organization that has hired me to come in and teach something to to the people in that organization, they feel like they already know me and they're ready to listen. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking to develop a fan base of people who regularly want to tune in and want to listen to you, you need to start doing video. So don't be afraid of it. It only gets better with every single time that you do it. And again, if you want any other tips on videos or any other type of marketing, so again, video marketing is the future. Finding ways of embedding it into emails, definitely something you should use. So again, a lot of my realtor peeps, they use BombBomb. I think BombBomb is amazing. It's the bomb. I don't have BombBomb because I'm not in real estate, but I'm testing a system called Soapbox. And it basically does the same thing, which is really awesome. So it's from a company called Wistia. So I think it is wistia.com/soapbox. So if you go there, there's a free version, but if you want to download it, I like to download my videos. It's like $150 a year. So it's not a huge commitment, but that's what I'm using. So if you have access to any of those kinds of services, please use them, because video gets significantly higher open rates on emails. It increases your web conversions by 80% or more. So the existence of videos significantly enhances and improves your sales funnel. Okay, those are all my topics for today that I can possibly think of that would help anyone who's out there, like Stephanie and anyone else listening, on what you need to do and to create amazing videos. What kinds of things can you talk about? And in terms of how long it should be, okay, so this is my last little piece of parting wisdom. Because the question is, how long should my videos be? Here's my very simple answer. It's as long as it takes for you to get your message out. And if that's 2 minutes or 20, doesn't matter, because if that's how long it takes for you to get your message across, to create that curiosity, to answer those questions, to tell your story, and to wrap it up, then that's how long it takes. Okay, so thanks for listening, folks. Again, if you have any other questions about video or any other digital type of marketing or offline marketing, I've done literally every single type of marketing possible. I do run a digital marketing agency, but in my previous career, I worked in banks, in loyalty companies, construction, and food. I know how hot dogs are made. I will not do a video on how hot dogs are made. I basically apologize to my children every time I feed it to them. So I'd love to be able to answer any questions you guys have. My job here is to make sure that you can, take whatever I'm telling you or sharing with you, and hopefully make some money out of it. If you found this helpful, please do share it with anyone that you think would like to see it. Apparently, Shirley Dexter Mercer. Shirley, you need to listen to this. But if you want to share with anyone else, by all means do so. And tune in again later on this week. Maybe this week. If not, I'll definitely see you guys next week. And if you have a topic you want me to talk about, please do let me know. I will be doing screen sharing as well, if that's what you need in order for me to do a little quick how-to. Have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you guys soon.